Daniel, let's do a spontaneous, quick deep dive into some language related to audio and issues that people might have when recording and or streaming. Because for me, not having the biggest audio background, there's a few things that I've learned through, streaming and through being a musician. But sometimes the language isn't totally lined up. So something that I see as a common issue, which I didn't know about first when I started using Ecamm, but then I quickly learned when looking back at my videos that my video and my audio is not in sync. And so the great thing about Ecamm is that you can set a mic delay. But what would I call that? So if I was like, if my audio and my video is not in sync, what's the correct terminology for that? And then, here I'm saying that one of the solutions in Ecamm is just by adjusting a mic delay, which you can do in your preferences. But what is that called? Is that synchronizing? What's the term for that?
Well, so there's so many different terms that people use, and if you're going to be in audio engineering and you're working at a firm, they're going to have specific definitions.
Yeah.
I think for us, what we just need to determine are the differentiations between what's happening, and we need to use our skills in communications to say this is what's happening versus lag.
Right. I've heard that used a lot. People are like, oh, my audio is lagging, but then so I think of lag as like it's going and catching up and going and catching up. But then sometimes I think people use that word to describe like a delay issue or not a lack of synchronization.
Yeah. And so I would say the global definition under all synchronization are things working in tandem with each other at the same time. And so it's out of sync, I think, is a great way to say, hey, the audio's not working with my video.
Right.
And
you have to fix it in post-production.
Yeah. And so that would be more of a delay. So the solution is the delay, or the problem is a delay.
Yeah.
Now, when we usually refer to audio delay, we're saying that audio is coming first, video's coming after.
Right.
And basically the reasons why that happens, first of all, is because video is harder to process. And it takes longer to come from your camera to your USB port to your computer system, etc.
Exactly.
Audio like this, right? And so when we are noticing that when I say something or when I snap my fingers, and then the video comes after the audio, even if it's just a fraction of a second, I would call that a delay.
Okay.
And that's super simple. If that's constant from the beginning to the very ending of your live stream or your recording, that's inside of Ecamm Live Preferences, Audio tab, add a frame delay.
Yep.
A great tool for that is from one of our own Ecamm fam members, Michael Forrest, squares.tv. Go there, register for a free account, and upload a 3-second clip of you clapping your hand. And then you can see where your physical hands touch in the video and then where the sound clip is.
That's
and then
cool.
It'll tell you how many frames put in that delay.
Awesome.
I would say that for the very, very few people where they might run into the opposite situation where audio is being delayed and audio comes in after video. So, Ken and Glenn did incorporate a negative delay on audio by up to 1 or 2 frames.
I think it's 2, yeah.
Yeah, it can work, but you have to realize that if that happens, that's a completely different problem on your computer. It should not happen.
Yeah.
Video should not come in first. If that's happening, it usually means that you're running a one or more different plugins or filters that are processing your audio. It is not a direct hardware microphone to computer system. You're probably using like Rogue Amoeba sound, whatever, stuff like that.
Okay.
Where it has to process that. And software processing is not real time. It's impossible to have real time. And so if your audio comes in after your video, look at the plugins and the systems that you're using that could be causing that. I personally haven't seen the Ecamm Live audio filters cause an audio processing delay, but keep in mind it could. It could.
Yeah. Introducing anything extra is going to, create possibilities for other things to go wrong. But in general, people that are used to recording video on their phone, then they're making a switch to recording video on a camera or through a live streaming software or anything like that, they might not have ever experienced that delay before. So they're going to go back and watch their video and be like, wait a second, why is my audio not in sync with my video? This is super common. And in fact, when you switch around your gear, like if you're suddenly switching your, maybe your capture card or your computer or your camera, anytime you're making a change to your overall setup, it's worth doing those tests to see what you need to set your mic delay at. Because I know for me, I've switched out my audio input, my camera input. I've switched devices. I've had very simple setups with no external monitors, and then I've really pushed my older Mac, and so there's so many different variables. But I would say if you're going to record your first stuff here in Ecamm, it's worth checking out, doing a test, hit record, adjust those mic delays, go back and see what works best for your setup, and just keeping that in mind.
And there's also many different things to take into consideration. One is when you are testing for that mic delay, you have to listen over your computer speakers, or you have to, so funny thing is, how do you know the audio is the right volume? How do you know the audio is coming in at the right time? You use your eyes. You actually don't use your ears.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And the reason why is because audio does take time for it to come out of a speaker and into your ear.
Yeah,
there's
you're right.
For every foot, there's a 10 millisecond delay. And so so that's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider is do not use Bluetooth headphones to see if there's an audio delay from a visual perspective.
100%.
Because Bluetooth is going to have a couple hundred milliseconds delay as well.
Yep.
So you need to use headphones that are plugged in to the microphone port or to the headphone port, or you're going to use speakers. But better yet, you will always use those visual cue tools, such as the one at squares.tv, or other tools like that.
Yeah.
Or just, do an unlisted recording up to YouTube and watch it on your phone and listen to it on your phone.
Yeah.
There's, 1 frame difference in delay, nobody's really going to notice.
Yeah.
2 and 3 now, you're going to start to see that happening.
It just kind of feels weird. You're like, okay, it's definitely matching, but not exactly perfect. I'm distracted by it if it's too severe, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and I'm used to doing a lot of video editing in Premiere Pro, and I make that audio file so big, and even if I'm not using any extra tools other than any type of video, you can do the same thing in CapCut, in almost editing software. You can look at those sound wave files and then see, oh, okay. So you can see when your hands are touching, and you can see when that audio is peaking right there, which is why a clap test is something that people use all the time. All right, give us one more audio tip so this video is not crazy long but super digestible. One more word. So we've talked about mic delay. What's another common audio issue? Not getting into the gear on things. Drift. Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
Drift. Yeah, absolutely. Another one is drift, and that is more of a variable difference in timing, and that usually happens when your audio is coming in at a different frequency or a different rate. So Ecamm Live is at 48 kilohertz, but a lot of different software systems or hardware systems can output things at 44 kilohertz.
Okay.
And so that kind of rate is going to cause a drifting in your recording. It might look like it's working totally fine, but when you start to move in your audio tracks to a video editor like Final Cut Pro, Premiere, etc., what starts to happen is it looks good at the beginning, but then over time, it's 2-3 minutes in, why is my audio track shorter than my video track?
Right.
It's because of this difference in the rate of that recording. So make sure your systems are outputting at 48 kilohertz. So if you have, Rodecaster Pros, they're all at 48. I don't even think we can switch it to 44. But there are different systems that are capable of outputting at different frequencies. So make sure that it is at 48. Now, some people are going to be asking, well, how do I know?
Yeah.
You'll know. If it's out of drift, you probably are using more advanced hardware.
Okay.
And for some reason, there's a switch or a difference in that. Most of the time, a lot just basic USB microphones and cameras, you're not going to have a difference in that, right? If you're using a microphone that's built into a camera, you're not going to have a drift problem. It's pretty much guaranteed there's no drift problem. And that's another, actually, I'm going to bring up a third bonus tip.
Bonus tip. Love it.
If you are having ultimate challenges of delay or drift or whatever audio synchronization issues with your audio and your video, the simple answer is this. Use the microphone or microphone connection that is using your camera. So here, a lot of folks
Okay.
here will use mirrorless or DSLR cameras.
Yeah.
And they have like a ZV-E10 or Canons or whatever attached to like a cam link.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and a lot of those folks who are a little bit more advanced will have a different microphone connection, so that your microphone is coming in through a Rodecaster Pro or an
Yeah.
Elgato Wave XLR or
Yeah.
things like that. What ends up happening is because of the two different interfaces, you're going to have to synchronize that somewhere, and that's where that microphone delay option in Ecamm Live comes in. But if you don't want to deal with any of that, what you're going to do is you're going to send your audio signal to the camera's microphone port.
Okay.
And then that comes in through your cam link or your HDMI capture device. And you can just change the audio option inside of your sound levels panel
Yeah.
from microphone default to the cam link.
Right.
And when you see the audio meter moving, guaranteed that's coming in synchronized.
That's good. That's a great tip. That's a great tip. Thanks, Daniel.
Hey, my pleasure.
This is spontaneous. We were just having a Zoom call about other stuff. And I was like, hold on a second. You're explaining this in a way that makes a lot of sense to me and giving me the language that I needed to be able to communicate this. So guys, let's just give it up for Daniel. Hey, hey.
Hey, you want to do an audio workshop?
Daniel, I was thinking, would you want to do an audio workshop here for the Ecamm Fem?
I think we might have to do
I think we might have to do it.
It's going to be fun.
I think that we should totally do that. And you know what? Like,
Let's do it.
We're definitely going to do that. And who's going to attend that? Me.
Yeah.
I'll be there. All right, keep a lookout for that, guys. It's coming up.